In the year 2000, Scary Movie came out, and the world of spoof movies was never going to be quite the same ever again, for better or worse. Released during the wake of a resurgence of the teenage slasher movie genre, Scary Movie takes the slasher movie trope and dials the hilarious meter up to 11 and beyond. A movie which would have a huge impact on both slasher movies and spoof movies, while also becoming its own hugely successful franchise. But the big question is, do we know everything there is to know about this now 24-year-old movie?
Wow, has it seriously been 24 years? Okay, now I feel like Matt Damon in Saving Private Ryan when he morphs into the old man. Yep, that is me right now. I feel like I want to go outside and start telling all the kids, "Hey you kids, get off my lawn!" Ugh. But before I do that, we're going to look into 10 things that you didn't know about Scary Movie. So can we check it out, please?
Number 10. When two scripts collide. It was the late 90s and the teenage slasher genre was back, thanks to Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer. The slasher movie had indeed returned in such a big way, of which it would seem inevitable that someone would want to parody it. And well, that's exactly what happened. Well, technically there was two parodies being made at the same time, one being penned by Marlon and Shawn Wayans, of which they were also working with writers Buddy Johnson and Phil Bowman, with whom they had written in the past for their show In Living Color. And a spoof being written up for Miramax by Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer. However, it was the Wayans brothers script that would become the script that was picked up by Dimension Films and thus would be made into a movie. But the Writers Guild got involved and decided that Friedberg and Seltzer should still be credited as co-script writers for Scary Movie, whereas it's been reported that none of their work was actually used in the filmed script. Regardless, because of this, Scary Movie now credited a whopping 6 writers.
Hello? What's your favorite scary movie?
Number 9. Potential title. So the next big hassle bugging the production was what to call this Scream parody. The movie's original title was in fact Scream If You Know What I Did Last Halloween, which honestly is a brilliant title, and I kind of think it's a shame that that wasn't used. However, it was decided to give it the title of Scary Movie, which incidentally was the original title given to Scream before it became Scream. So that gave Scary Movie a closer connection to the movie it's parodying. But part of me does still think that Scream If You Know What I Did Last Halloween was a wasted opportunity. I mean, come on, justice for Scream If You Know What I Did Last Halloween. However, there are other reports that at one stage, the movie even had the marathon-long title of Last Summer I Screamed Because Friday the 13th Fell on Halloween. Whew, yikes. Someone get me an aspirin. Number 8. The movie's main star was originally going to go on a trip to London. Scary Movie features a lineup of well-known famous faces who turn up in order to take the piss out of the slasher genre. However, the most pivotal part was that of the Sidney Prescott equivalent, Cindy Campbell. Not only did she have to carry the movie, but she also had to deliver on the comedy chops. Several actresses were considered, one of whom was Alicia Silverstone, which would have actually gotten her career out of the slum it was placed in after starring as Batgirl in Batman and Robin, but she turned the role down. Anna Faris auditioned on the off, as she had just graduated from university and was planning to travel to London. So at that stage in life, she didn't set out to star in a movie, she just sort of went in and auditioned, I guess, to see what happened. However, despite her limited acting experiences, she just had that certain something the production was looking for, and it worked. She was able to act out a certain naivety that the production were looking for in the character, but also gave out the LOLs in spades, and so she was cast, and what a great bit of casting it was. Number 7. Other casting possibilities. When it came to some of the other casting associated with Scary Movie, Jared Leto was offered the role of Cindy's boyfriend, Bobby Prince, but he chose to star in Requiem for a Dream instead, so the part went to John Abrahams. Melissa Joan Hart and Jenny McCarthy were considered for playing the movie's first victim, Drew Decker, but the part went to Carmen Electra. The late Aaliyah was offered the role of Cindy's best friend, Brenda Meeks, but she turned it down as she felt it was making fun of Brandy, and a role that she played in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and she didn't want to make fun of her friend, so Regina Hall was cast instead. Once again, a brilliant bit of casting.
I know you better get out of my face! Out of my face! Out of my face! Yeah, I got you! I got you on camera! You on candid camera now!
Damon Wayans, who is the brother of Scary Movie's writers and co-stars Marlon and Sean Wayans, was originally going to be revealed as the killer, in a plot where it was to be revealed that he was annoyed that he was being left out by his brothers or something like that. But he couldn't commit as he was too busy at that time. So it was written into the script for the character Doofy, played by Dave Sheridan, to turn out to be the movie's big bad. Oh, Doofy. Once again, what a great and memorable character that was.
I said don't disturb me when I'm cleaning my room!
Number 6. Deleted Halloween joke. So naturally, Scary Movie parodies Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, with Scary Movie meshing those two scripts together, which I always found to be quite clever. However, something else Scary Movie was also very much a product of its time, as it parodied other movies that were popular in that era, including The Blair Witch Project, The Sixth Sense, and even movies that weren't part of the horror genre like The Matrix, The Usual Suspects, and American Pie. I mean, there was even a Riverdance joke thrown in there. Because, you know, Riverdance was a thing at the time, so I guess we had to put that in there somehow. However, there was also meant to be a homage to the granddaddy of teenage slasher movies, Halloween, where in a scene where Cindy is being chased by the killer, she hides in a closet, only to find Laurie Strode already hiding in there. Which, yeah, fair dues, that could have been funny.
However, Jamie Lee Curtis didn't want to parody her Laurie Strode character, so that idea was flushed right down the toilet. Yep, just like that.
Number 5. What's up? So there's the now famous scene in Scary Movie where the killer is calling some victims where they all say, "What's up?
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
And I always got a kick out of how the ghost face mask changes. Brilliant.
Yo.
What's up?
Now this scene is actually a parody of a Budweiser commercial, where a heap of guys call each other up and say, "What's up?"
Hello? What's up? What's up?
What's up?
Now, we didn't have Budweiser here in Australia. Not to the best of my knowledge anyway. We only knew about this whole "what's up" thing thanks to Scary Movie. And oh boy, did this whole "what's up" thing really catch on, where suddenly all the young guys went through this phase of constantly yelling out, "What's up?" Seriously, there was no escaping it. Back in the day, this was everywhere. And once again, it was all the young lads doing it. Your friends will be knocking on the door and you'll answer it and they'll say, "What's up?" Or they'll call you on the phone and you'll answer it only for them to scream, "What's up?" Yeah, this was a craze that went a long way, or at least it did in my neck of the woods. And it did eventually fizzle out. But yeah, seriously, at one stage, everyone was saying, "What's up?"
What's up? What's up?
Now here's a quick message to my mate Josiah from Tasmania, who is the coolest dude ever. What's up?
Number 4. Improvisation movie. Despite being set in America, Scary Movie was actually filmed in Canada. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Namely British Columbia, in locations such as Vancouver, Richmond, and Victoria. The picture was directed by Keenan Ivory Wayans, who is actually part of the Wayans family, with Scary Movie very much being a product of the Wayans family. He had also previously created and starred in the sketch show In Living Colour, alongside Damon, Sean, and Marlon Wayans. According to an article on E! Online, Keenan would encourage the cast to do lots of improvising. According to Shannon Elizabeth, who starred as Buffy Gilmore, Keenan would instruct the actors to do 2 different takes. One where the actors would read off the script verbatim, and another where they all improvised. And whatever was the funniest take, they would put together in the final film. So I like to think they got the best of both worlds, and that the movie is a mishmash of what was scripted and what was improvised. Number 3. Scary Movie went through a cast of casting directors. So we've already spoken about the casting of Scary Movie, and how wonderful all the cast is and all that jazz. However, it seemed that the road to get there was a long and bumpy one, as the casting process of Scary Movie would go through 3 casting directors. And yeah, it apparently did take quite a while to cast this movie, like a lot longer than usual. I guess the powers that be really wanted to make sure they got it right with the cast. Originally, casting directors Mary Vaniu and then Anne McCarthy were hired, but both would leave, reportedly because of the casting's lengthy period and conflict and creative differences with the movie's director, Keenan Ivory Wayans. Till finally, Christine Sheeks was hired at the last minute as a replacement casting director, but at that stage, most of the original casting had already been done. According to an article on whatculture.com, it seems that Shannon Elizabeth also had a bit of a clash with director Keenan Ivory Wayans, be that a more comical one, as a major part of her character was her sex appeal, and Keenan suggested that she wears extra padding in order to enhance her features, where Elizabeth yelled out, "Hey, do I look like the kind of girl who needs extra padding?" To which everyone on the set broke out into laughter.
I actually don't think she needed extra padding at all. I looked, but purely for research purposes.
Number 2. Very profitable movie. Scary Movie was released in July in the year 2000, and wow, this was a success that no one saw coming, with Scary Movie making $278 million on a $19 million budget. In fact, it knocked Air Force One off its pedestal of being the highest grossing R-rated movie at that time. It did get mixed to positive reviews. Some felt that it was the kind of humour that makes you feel bad or guilty for laughing at, but it was still very funny nevertheless, and generally a good time. But there were some who were more critical of its gross-out vulgar humour. Some were even shocked by its political incorrectness. A review in the Toronto Star found it sickening to watch. Yikes. But let's face it, if the past has taught us anything, usually if a critic complains that a movie is too politically incorrect, that usually means it's funny. I remember I was a teenager when Scary Movie came out, and me and all my friends loved it, and we would constantly be referencing and quoting it. Scary Movie was definitely a talking point, so clearly it did speak to its intended audience. I think that Scary Movie just came out at the right time, in the same way that both Scream and American Pie did, which were also 2 very successful movies that were kind of genre-defying for their time, especially in the realm of teen movies. In fact, you could say that Scary Movie was quite clever, in that it took the edgy gross-out humour of American Pie and the slasher aesthetic of Scream and meshed them together, to make a movie that was really of the moment, while also being unique at the same time.
I see dead people.
Man, this shit is awesome!
Number 1. The Scary Movie brand went into a never-ending tangent. The delightfully unexpected success of Scary Movie was something of a game changer. It was so successful that it immediately put a Scary Movie 2 into production, despite the poster promising no sequels. So when Scary Movie 2 came out, that movie's poster stated, "We lied." Marlon Wayans would later say that they were rushed to do a sequel, with Scary Movie 2 coming out exactly 1 year after the first movie, showing just what a fast production it was. Due to the rushed, hectic, lightning speed pace of Scary Movie 2's production, the Wayans family decided to bow out of the Scary Movie franchise after making Part 2, which is a shame as they were monumental to its success. I mean, it was their baby. Scary Movie 2 still performed okay. It was okay. It made $141.2 million on its $45 million budget. And it did feature that guy with the hand, who in my opinion totally steals the show and makes Scary Movie 2 worth watching for that alone.
Yeah.
Rest that little hand.
Let me give you a little pinch there. Come on.
But regardless, the Wayans were still done. So after that we got Scary Movie 3 and Scary Movie 4, this time directed by Airplane director David Zucker, and they actually performed quite well in the box office. But by the time you get to Scary Movie 5 in 2013, the magic had clearly fizzled out, with that movie only making $78 million. But not only was the Scary Movie series milked for everything it was worth, but the spoof movie genre in general, as what followed was an onslaught of spoof movies, trying to capitalize on the Scary Movie success, but completely lacking in quality and in some cases, humor, and kind of felt like quick and easy cash grabs. Just take what is ever popular at that time and mimic it. Yeah, that should do it. That's funny, right? Well, more often no. In fact, some of these spoof movies were written and directed by Jason Freeberg and Aaron Seltzer, including Epic Movie, Meet the Spartans, and Disaster Movie. Freeberg and Seltzer were, as mentioned, credited for co-writing the original Scary Movie, even though supposedly none of their writing made it into the final film, like, as in they had nothing to do with it. But that didn't stop their movie posters from declaring, "From the writers of Scary Movie." That kind of signifies what a cash grab these spoof movies kind of were. I think it got to the stage where it really got obnoxious, to the point where people were now groaning when learning of another spoof movie coming out, and so the spoof movie genre was burned to the ground. And right now it kind of feels like spoof movie is actually sort of a dirty term, as it invokes memories of all those not so great spoof movies. But you know what? It doesn't have to be that way. I think the spoof movie genre can thrive if done right, and I think that Scary Movie, the original, is a perfect example of that. It takes passion and a love of the craft, rather than the love of making a quick buck. The passion the Wayans brothers had when making the first movie. Whereas Marlon puts it, they took a $19 million movie and turned it into a $1 billion franchise. So mark my words, one day the spoof movie genre will return, and it will be brilliant again.
I definitely put Scary Movie in the same category as Airplane and Naked Gun, as spoof movies done right. And yes, Scary Movie is pretty outrageous, but remember, it's only a movie, and sometimes it is okay to laugh. Anyway, I'm Minty, and what's up? True.